And Narada Muni says, "You're nothing? Krishna lives in your house? You worship Krishna as the Lord and Master of your life, and how is Krishna reciprocating? He's your friend. He's your relative. He's your messenger. You're sending Krishna on missions, and he's obediently following whatever you want. You are controlling Krishna. That is the power of your devotional service." And that is a fact. When Krishna gives devotional service, pure devotional service, he knows that he's going to come under the control of that devotee. So he doesn't give it very freely to anyone. It is sudurlabha, very rare. Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prasantatma koteshvapi mahamune. Out of hundreds, millions and trillions, it is explained here, of yogis who attain siddhas, of jnanis who attain mukti, it's very rare that Krishna will give pure devotional service, because he comes under the control of that devotee. And moksha lagutakrita. That devotional service derives even the happiness of liberation. Prahlad Maharaj in Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, he prays to Lord Nrsimha Dev that those persons who have attained, the yogis who have attained mystic powers, the jnanis who have attained mukti, in the Brahman realization, the happiness they are achieving is compared like the water contained in a calf's hoof print, compared to the vast ocean of the happiness derived from pure devotional service. Rupa Goswami explains, trillions and trillions of times greater even than impersonal liberation is the happiness of loving Krishna, of seeing Krishna, of knowing Krishna, and especially of serving Krishna. It is the ultimate aspiration of every soul. Therefore, anyabhilashita sunyam jnana karamanyanavitam anukulena krishnanu shilanam bhaktaruttama. If you want pure devotional service, you have to get rid of all desires for mystic powers, liberation, or material enjoyment. Our desire that we're cultivating, we may have so many desires, but what we're cultivating is the desire simply to satisfy Krishna, to please Krishna, and to love Krishna in a favorable way. It is so beautiful. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains the essence of Hladini Shakti is prem, love of God. The Hladini Shakti of the Lord is the energy of Srimati Radharani. Devotional service is under the control, under the supervision of Srimati Radharani. Krishna is all attractive. He is Madan Mohan. Even Cupid, who attracts and bewilders the minds of everyone in this world, is attracted by Krishna. Actually, in Vrindavan, Bhaktivedanta Hospital is building a hospice for devotees from all over the world who have given their hearts and souls to Srila Prabhupada's mission, who are approaching that inevitable state of giving up this body. And there'll be a beautiful facility where they'll be surrounded by the devotees in the supreme abode of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Kirtan, Katha, prayers, they can give up their bodies with all nice professional, trained hospice caretakers seeing to the physical needs, mental needs, and spiritual needs of each devotee. Now this hospice is just near a place called Madantir. In our yatras, we often pass that place and tell the story. That Kamadev, he came to test who is this Krishna. And he was near this tree when he saw Krishna. And he took that bow and arrow. And when Kamadev, we don't see those arrows. But they're flying all over the place. Powerful things are often subtle. Many things you don't see are affecting you. Yes? Let's say air. You don't see air. When there's a tornado or a cyclone, do you see the wind? You see what the wind is doing, but you don't see the wind. You see trees falling down and leaves falling all over the place, and you see dust throughout the air, and you see houses collapsing, and you see people flying like pieces of straw in all directions. That's what happens in a cyclone. You see the symptoms, but you don't see what's doing it. It's amazing, isn't it? Something gross, like if somebody puts their fist in your face, you see it coming. But a cyclone, you don't see anything. It's just air. But how powerful it is. So don't be fooled by thinking you have to see something to see its power, to understand that it's working. Well, far subtler than this element is Kamadev's arrows. When he pierces your heart, you don't hear the bow, you don't see the arrow, but it lodges in your heart and it creates havoc in your life. Yes? But of course, modern civilization, they just want more and more arrows. It's not that they're happy about it, but they're just, they want more and more and more desires. The more desires, the more I could try to fulfill the desires. The more desires, the more pleasure I have when I engage in the activities that fulfill those desires. But it's a never-ending cycle. Krishna says in Gita, it's like putting fuel in fire. Hare Krishna. So Kamadev, he directly, for most people in this world, he's not directly. He's just got arrows flying all over by his energy. But he was directly aiming his arrow at Krishna. But when he saw Krishna's beautiful threefold bending form, eyes like fully bloomed lotus petals, beautiful, beautiful nose like a sesame flower, and lips like freshly cut bimba fruits. Haribol. Complexion like a monsoon cloud. Every limb so perfectly attractive, standing with those three bends in his body, playing his flute. His dhoti, his lower cloth, was brilliant like lightning. Kaustubhamani and other wonderful, wonderful divine jewels hanging from his neck, which is swirled like with lines like a conch shell. And the beautiful forest garland, Vanamali, of wild, fragrant flowers from desire trees, going beneath his knees, his lotus feet in the palms of his hand, pinkish, like a pink lotus flower. Pearls decorating his hair, along with peacock feather. When he saw that form, Kamadev was so attracted that he fell unconscious. Finished. That is the power of Krishna. Therefore, he is Madan Mohan. He attracts even Madana. He bewilders even Madana. The person who bewilders the whole world is bewildered by Krishna. Madan Mohan. Srimati Radharani, she attracts Krishna. Kaviraj Goswami explains it so nicely. How Krishna, he's completely infatuated by the love of Srimati Radharani. Her love is so pure. When Srimati Radharani, in order to increase Krishna's pleasure, decides not to speak to him and feigns a mood of man or anger, and Krishna becomes like a beggar. Gaur Govinda Maharaj called Prem Bhikari, begging for Radha's love. I cannot live without it. Well, this is the most extraordinary of all truths. You will never find any truth higher than this. Krishna tells who he is in Gita. Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvalokamaheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantimishyati. All sacrifices are only meant for me. I am the controller and the proprietor of all the worlds. Everything. Sarvadharaman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. All spiritual and material worlds emanate from Krishna. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. The whole material existence and its energy is working under my control. Krishna is the proprietor of everything that exists. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashashraya jnana vairagyayashchaiva sanam bhaga itingana. Krishna has all six opulences. Aishwarya means he owns everything. There's nothing that Krishna doesn't own. He owns you and everything you have. And knowledge means to just accept, Krishna, you are the proprietor, you are the enjoyer, I am the servant. Yes? So Krishna is the supreme proprietor of everything. And he's becoming a beggar. How many people can you see somebody who's a multi-billionaire begging? Yes, usually they do, at home. Because they have no control of their children. They usually don't have control of their wife begging, please, give me some peace, please. Give me a break. That means they don't have control over people. Yes? But Krishna has supreme control over everything, but he's a beggar. Because the love of Srimati Radharani, by his own will, he is controlled by that love. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, when Krishna is in Dwarka, he's revealing his heart to the devotees. Narada Muni, Uddhav, and others. Why I'm not going back to Vrindavan? Actually, the whole time I'm here in Dwarka, I'm only thinking of Vrindavan. He tells Satyabhama, the only reason I married you is because because in my separation of the gopis, you remind me of the gopis. It's quite an honest thing to say to your wife. Such a high truth. Now, how could you, if your husband told you, oh, best of illustrious, chaste, and noble ladies, the only reason I married you is because you remind me of another woman I love. But Satyabhama was in ecstasy when Krishna told her this, because this is completely transcendental. Krishna is saying during the Ratha Yatra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the mood of Radharani, and Jagannath was in the mood of Krishna, and the conversation. Amazing. So beautiful. Krishna's telling Radharani and Kurukshetra and gopis, ever since I left Vrindavan, I'm crying day and night in separation from you. I can't live without you. In fact, I know you can't live without me. Therefore, I worship Narayan, and by his mercy, every day, invisibly, I come to Vrindavan and perform pastimes with you, just to keep you alive. And Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisovanayaiva. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that Krishna comes in the mood of Radharani just to taste the sweetness of her love. This is the supreme truth, which is the very basis of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. That Radharani's love controls Krishna. And devotional service means to put yourself under the shelter of Srimati Radharani. And Prabhupada cites from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanastu mam parata daivim prakriti mashata bhajantyananya manasho gyatva bhuta dimabhyayam. What is a Mahatma? According to Gita, a Mahatma is one who is under the shelter of the internal potency of the Lord, and thus engages all one's mind, senses, and everything in worshiping the Lord. Now, what is that internal potency? The internal potency is Srimati Radharani. Mahatmanastu mam parata daivim prakritim ashyata. This means a real Mahatma is one who takes shelter of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And under her shelter, assists in the process of devotional service. And because Radharani controls Krishna, if we come under the shelter of Radharani and are imbued by her mercy, our devotional service can also control Krishna. So therefore, Krishna only gives pure devotional service very rarely. Sudurlava. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaya yatanamapi siddhanam kashtin mam veti tattvata. Out of thousands of people who approach me, hardly one knows me in truth. And we find in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela how, as Lord Chaitanya, Radharani and Krishna are giving this sudurlabha, this most rare gift to achieve, freely to the people of this world, like never before. Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaudatveshe Namaha. Lord Chaitanya is the most magnificent, the most munificent, the most merciful of any other form of God, of any other incarnation, because he's doing what nobody else has done, given this most precious jewel of pure devotional service without even considering anyone's qualifications or disqualifications. It doesn't matter what your past, what your present, just accept it. People strive for many, many, many lifetimes for mystic powers. Anima, to become very small. Mahima, to become very big. Lagima, to actually enter into the sun planet by riding on the sun rays. Prapti, acquisition, can actually acquire things that are very difficult to acquire from even distant places. Ishita, the power to create and destroy even planets. Vishita, the power to control other people, control their minds, control their lives. It's quite attractive. Prakamya, the ability to do magic within the scope of material nature. And Kamavashayata, to perform such impossible, inconceivable magic that you have the power to contradict material nature and how it works. These are the 8 mystic cities. How many of you would like those cities? You could do a lot. Really, you could do a lot. But Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana. In this verse, you can get so many things. You can get planets. You can get tremendous wealth. You can get power over others. It's due to these 8 mystic cities that Hiranyakashipu conquered the whole universe. Now, what if you're pious and you have those things? How many good things can you do for the world? It's very attractive. People spend lifetimes trying to get those cities through the yogic practices. If we have any inclination toward any of those mystic cities, you may get the cities, but you'll never get Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. And if you have any inclination for freedom from suffering and moksha, cannot get Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give this. He gave that story of Sarvagya, the astrologer. Yes? He told the poor man, he said, "You're looking for treasure?" He said, "In one direction, there is a big snake. If you dig there, you will be devoured by the snake. In another direction, there's bees and wasps that will sting you and bite you. In another direction, there's a yaksha who's going to haunt you and harass you. But if you dig in the eastern direction, you will find the treasure." So the process of karma kanda. We may, even if we get through piety, through rituals, through yajnas, through charities, we can get elevation to very, very high standards of enjoyment in this world or higher planets. But Abrahma, Bhuvana, Loka, Puna, Ravartan, Arjuna, they're all from Brahma Loka to Patala Loka, they're places of misery. It's temporary. That's why in the scriptures we find Indra facing so many problems. Yes? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, which in other scriptures, it only talks about Indra's enjoyments. But Srimad Bhagavatam mainly talks about Indra's problems. Yes? In other Puranas, in Vedas, you find just Indra's just doing yajnas and enjoying and wealthy and happy and everything else. But Bhagavatam is to teach us something higher, so it focuses on the reality of these aspects. Because even if you're Indra, still, so many problems. So many bees will sting you. And as far as mystic siddhis, even if you have them all, it usually inflates your false ego. They're all material skills. Ignorant people think that mystic cities are spiritual powers. Actually, they're simply highly refined material powers. Technology today, show it to someone from 200 years ago, and they'll think you're a mystic yogi. Yes? Just like if some villager from Maharashtra in the year 12:10, and Govinda happens to go back in time. Govinda Prabhu. And he's sitting there, and all of a sudden his cell phone rings. There's all of a sudden this do-do-do-do-do-do-do coming from his pocket. What would those people from 12:10 say? Your clothes are singing. Yeah, singing clothes, right? And then he takes out this little thing, and they never saw anything like this. Plastic didn't exist in those days. What to speak of all these? And then he starts, and then talking, and here, you want to talk? The person says, there's a voice coming out of this. He has a little box that talks. His clothes are talking. His box is talking. I'm sure that village in Maharashtra would build a temple and put his deity in it and worship. And worship him as God, right? Because they've never seen anything like this. What to speak if he takes out his laptop computer? Starts showing those villagers of 12:10 all the features of his new computer. Yes, impossible. So for a mystic yogi, he just knows how to manipulate the subtle elements of material nature to be able to do amazing things, it's miraculous to you because you don't know how to do it. In Siddha Loka, everyone knows how to do it. They don't consider this as a great enlightened being because he knows. He just does everything everybody else is doing. Yes? But because in this earth planet, in this age of Kali, such mystic powers are rare to see. It's very attractive. But a devotee is not impressed by these things. Neither is he or she impressed, nor does he or she desire these things. Sanatana Goswami, he had a touchstone. Had it in the rubbish bin. The person who wanted wealth, he was performing tapasya for years and years and years to get one of these. And Sanatana Goswami had it in a rubbish bin. And Sanatana Goswami gave it to him, and it worked. Chanting mantra, touching certain types of bell metal and everything, it turns into gold. Unbelievable. Why do you keep it in the rubbish? You must have something even better than this. That's the nature of material acquisition. The more you have, the more you need. Yes? You get some, if you don't have anything, you want something. If you want something, once you get it, then you see somebody has something better. I have to have that. Isn't that the way children are? Then they see somebody who has something better than that. I have to have that. It's endless. You must have something better. I can turn anything into gold, but if you have something better, I have to have that. You're never satisfied. Sanatana Goswami said, I do have something better. Give it to me, please. I'll do anything for you. Give it to me. Okay, you'll do anything for me? Yes. Throw the touchstone in Yamuna. Gone forever. Then I'll give you something better. Sanatana Goswami, by his association, this man had faith. That's the power of the association of devotees. Imagine Srila Prabhupada, what a touchstone he was. He goes to a place where people are addicted to so many sinful activities, and Prabhupada says, give them up. They had so much faith in him, they gave it up. Unbelievable. Illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, meat eating, gambling, what else? All of these things. It was their life. It was their enjoyment. It was their social activities. It was their everything. And Prabhupada says, give it up. It's like throwing a touchstone in the Yamuna. They had so much faith. They were willing to do it. It was a big leap of faith that I'll get something better. So that man threw touchstone in Yamuna. And Sanatana Goswami, now I will give you the supreme treasure. This touchstone will give you not just gold, it will give you prem, love of God. He told this man, raise your arms and loudly repeat after me. Very nice. You are all successful. Prabhupada said we have to learn to cry out for Krishna as a baby in a helpless condition cries out for its mother. Much louder, please. This gift which is so rare, greater than any material acquisition, greater than any mystic powers, and greater than even liberation, has been given to the world by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through this simple process of chanting God's holy names. Therefore, Mahaprabhu has taught, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. This chanting of the holy names is the prime benediction for all humanity. Kalera dosanide raja nasti heku mahan guna kirtana reva krishnasya mukta sangha paramrajait. In this ocean of faults, Kali Yuga, this is the great benediction. That simply chanting Krishna's name and Nam Kirtan, one can attain the perfection of liberation. But Naishamati Stavarudu Kramangrim, we must simultaneously, in order to chant the name of the Lord in such a way that the Lord will reciprocate and give us this pure devotional service, we must take the dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas and make that our life and soul. Thakur Narottam said, the dust of the feet of the Goswamis is my food, my nourishment, my life. Dust means service, humble service. To put yourself in the dust means to totally humble yourself. Trinarapi sunichena, taror ibasihishna, amani namana dena kirtaniya sada. Hari. This is what it means to take the dust. You have to humble yourself. To serve. Servant of the servant of the servant. The highest platform because it attracts the highest mercy from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vritrasura, he was on such a pure, liberated state of pure love of God. How did it happen? How could it be? That is Parikshit Maharaj's thought. Nobody gets this so easily. How could a demon have it? What did he do to get it? And in answer to this question, this chapter is going to unfold the mystery. How Maharaj Chitraketu, how in his life he had to go through so many joys and terrible tragedies and sorrows to bring him to the point of surrendering to the mercy of a great Vaishnava, Narada Muni. And through Narada Muni's grace, he understood the path of offering prayers of devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he surrendered. And even though he made a mistake by inadvertently, accidentally offending Goddess Parvati, he said something which in his heart was not with any malice. But Parvati interpreted it to be spoken with false ego. How can you speak this way about Shiva? How can you question our relationship? Hare Krishna. Become a demon. Go to hell and become a demon. What a test. He's just gone through hell with his son. It's such a beautiful story. He really went through hell. The thing that he longed to achieve more than anything in this world was a son. And then his own beloved co-wives murder the son. And he has nothing. He tried for years to get this. He tried for years and years and years with all of his powers to get it. Finally, he got it, and it was gone forever. He was suffering so bad. This is the principle. To the degree you want something, you become attached to it when you get it. To the degree you're attached to it, you suffer when it's taken away, and everything's taken away. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. He suffered so bad. But that's what enabled him to really hear what Narada Muni and Angira Muni were speaking. Previously, he heard the same message. He heard the same message, but he believed it, but he didn't really get it until he was in desperation. Then he got it, and he surrendered wholesale to Krishna. And then after surrendering wholesale to Krishna, he's being misunderstood and he's being cursed to go to hell and be a demon. Is that what I came to Krishna consciousness for? After all the suffering and material existence, I surrender to Krishna, and it's supposed to be Sandrananda Vishesh Atma. It's supposed to be an ocean of indescribable condensed ecstasy. And here I am being cursed by Devi Parvati and being misunderstood by her. It's one thing to be misunderstood by demons or materialists, but Parvati is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. She's the Lord Shakti. She's misunderstanding me. She's criticizing me. She's chastising me. She's cursing me. And all I did is, after surrendering everything and becoming a devotee, he didn't ask that question. He said, it must be Krishna's arrangement. Whatever you're saying must be for my good. Otherwise, you could not say it. Thank you very much. I actually didn't mean to offend your husband, but thank you very much for your mercy. That was his mood. And Lord Shiva, he was very happy. Yes, he has shown the world what is a devotee. Narayana parasarave nakutashtina bibyate swaragapavarga narakesu apitulyarta darshana. This is what a devotee of Narayan is about. Whether he's in hell or heaven or even liberated, doesn't matter. He's happy to serve anywhere. Kolavecha Sridhar was just a simple plantain seller, selling banana leaves, bananas, banana flowers, banana roots. So much in poverty. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered him every type of benediction. He offered him the wealth of Indra. I don't want it. And then he offered him something very irresistible, all the 8 mystic cities, the yogic perfections in full, I'll give them all to you. He wouldn't accept a single one of them. He rejected them. I'll give you mukti, liberation from all your sufferings. You're hungry, you're poor, I'll give you liberation. He rejected liberation. He didn't even want to go back to Godhead. He didn't want anything from the Lord. This was the mood of Prahlad also. There said, Lord Narasimhadev offered Prahlad any benediction. Prahlad said, if I ask anything of you, I'm not a devotee. I'm a, Vanak? Yes? I'm a mercantile community person. That means I'm doing business with you. If I want any pay, any dividends for whatever I've done for you, I'm not a devotee. That's not love. That's business. Prahlad wanted, the only thing I want, let no material desires be in my heart, and let me always remember you with love. Kolavecha Sridhar was offered all benedictions, one by one. He rejected them all. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I want to give you something. Please, for me, ask something. Yes, my Lord. In the core of my heart, let me always remember that beautiful little Nimai Pandit coming to my shop to steal my bananas. Let me always remember you, never forget you. Muktanam api siddhanam. Narayana parayana. Sudurlabha prasantatma kotishupi mahamuni. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I give you pure devotional service. And when he gave that pure devotional service to Kolavecha Sridhar, all the devotees, with tears flowing from their eyes, raised their arms and cried out, Hari Bol. They all celebrated the ultimate perfection of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu drank from the old, beaten-up iron pot of Kolavecha Sridhar. And when he drank it, he went into ecstasy and said, this is the first time in life I'm tasting pure devotional service. After experiencing the nectar of the water drunk by Kolavecha Sridhar. What does that mean? The Lord is controlled by his devotees. Sachimata said, go to Puri, don't live in Vrindavan. He went to Puri. The Lord is controlled by the love of his devotees. So he will not give that love so easy. But yet, Lord Chaitanya is giving that love so easy. Some price is there. What was that Jayadvaita Maharaj said? Hard and fast rules. Yes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said there are no hard and fast rules for this chanting of the holy names of the Lord. But yet, for us, it seems like they're very hard and fast. You have to be more humble than a blade of grass, tolerant like a tree, and offer all respect to others, and expect none in return. That's quite hard and fast. And no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, no meeting. You're not supposed to blaspheme others. You're supposed to not disobey the order of the spiritual master. You're not supposed to equate the names of the demigods with Krishna. You can't blaspheme the Vedic literatures or literatures or pursuance of the Vedic version. You can't give mundane interpretations for the holy name of the Lord. You can't equate it to the karma kanda activities. You can't commit sinful activities on the strength of the chanting of the holy names. You can't preach the glories of the holy name to the faithless, and you can't even maintain material attachments. while chanting the holy name, these sounds pretty hard and fast. Yes? Jayadvaita Maharaj said these regulations are soft and slow. They're not hard and fast. They're the minimum, just to show that you're really serious. That's all. If you can't do these things, this is the way that you can express that you're really serious. To get such a benediction as even mystic powers or liberation, you have to do a lot more than this. Yes? And in previous ages, to get pure devotional service, you had to do unbelievable things. But in age of Kali, this is the minimal. Just to show that you really are serious. Because if you show that you really are serious by just following this process with the proper intentions and aspirations, Krishna comes under control. Most rare of all benedictions. So let us be grateful. Srila Prabhupada said, just give this one life to Krishna, and you go back home, back to God, even in this life. How wonderful. Troubles will be there. His Grace Braj Bihari Prabhu gave a seminar during his classes about Tatenu kampam susamikshamano punjana evatma kritam vibhagam ridvagbapur vir vitatam namaste jivetya mukta pade satayabhak. That even while suffering different tribulations, we accept them as the mercy of the Lord with a grateful heart and carry on with our Krishna consciousness. If we're simply willing to do that, liberation is our rightful claim. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, upon hearing this verse, he said, this mukti sadaya bhak, I'm not liking this. Bhakti padaya. That, why should we do this for mukti? We want to do this for bhakti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, pure devotional service, prema bhakti, is the supreme perfection of liberation. So devotees must be very, very philosophically, logically, scientifically convinced of these principles. Otherwise, it's very easy to be distracted toward sense gratification, toward other spiritual paths that for a much less price we get peace, we get success, we may even get some powers. We may even strive for that liberation. But vyabhashayatmaka buddhirekeha kurunandana bahushaka hinantascha buddhayo vyabhashayanam. A devotee must be fixed in purpose, resolute in determination. Those, Krishna says, those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, fixed in their determination. I want prema bhakti. I want pure devotional service. I want to put myself under the control of Srimati Radharani's energy. I want to be in Srimati Radharani's camp of devotional service. And there's nothing else that has any appeal, no charm. And how do we achieve that? The dust of the feet of Srimati Radharani. Naisha Matishthavaru Rukramangri. The dust of the feet of Srimati Radharani are available through the dust of her feet of her devotees, through service. That is our conviction. Do not allow our minds to be attracted to any of these lesser temptations, either material or spiritual. That is Srila Prabhupada's great gift. And that is the sum and substance of today's illustrious verse. To chant Hare Krishna and be happy. gone slightly over.